So traders, I've been looking at the markets recently and look at this here. This has an enormous move to the upside, as you can see right here. Right, look at this here. This is the S&P 500, and I've been looking at this from a big picture perspective, and that's what I'm going to be covering in this video here today, is a big picture perspective here. Now, the really big thing here, now again guys, this, I don't believe what I'm about to say right now, I don't believe is going to truly start to take form until around about maybe 26, 27. And then I really believe in the 30s, that's when I believe this thing is probably going to eventually happen in these markets here. And I'd really like to get your point of view of this as well too, where I believe there's going to be a massive correction when this Ponzi scheme all ends. There's a long way to go, right? There's a long way down when all this comes to an end here. And I'd like to get your opinion on this as well too, like where you think the markets are going. Now, the stock market, where do you think the stock markets are going when this whole thing comes to an end? Which we all know through history that there's government build-up of debt and so on and so forth, and then there becomes debt defaults, restructuring, and stuff like that. If you read Ray Dalio's history, then you'll notice that as well too. You also know, a bit of a side point, you also know that we're probably going to go back to a gold backing something. That's why I believe gold is an incredible investment opportunity for the next 10 years. Same for the mining sector as well too. But this whole video, guys, is about the whole stock market, right? So we can see here that this is what happened. This has actually happened with the stock market. We actually had a very nice pullback through here. And the really interesting, look at this here. The really interesting point is that we're looking at a monthly chart now on the S&P. And just a bit of a side note here. Look at this here. From that ultimate low point to that ultimate high point, it just retraced 50% and then it came up. If you guys don't know that if a market retraces 50% or more, then it's set to continue. That's why I like with my personal trading system, I like to see with my personal trading system, I like to see a good retracement of 50% or less and then a continuation from there. You can learn that system, first link in the description there, guys. You can join my webinar and you'll learn all my trading system there. But you can see here, trade, look at this here, come back down through to here, and you can see that this point right here and come up through there. Now, when this all comes to an end, I wonder what's going to happen here. And I'm just looking at the overall markets from here. Let me just move here. I'm looking at these overall markets. Now, I do believe that we're ready for another one last little push to the upside. And the reason why I'm saying that is, or should I say one last little push? Maybe not little push, but I do see the S&P 500 having another really big sort of final move to the end. If this is going to be the end of a move, what generally happens towards major tops and major bottoms, right? We end up getting what? If this is a major sort of completion, especially coming from 2008 when they really started putting on the printing press, what tends to happen, right? We end up getting what? A blow off top, and that's the end of all ends, and then we end up starting to see that the end of that overall massive bull market. Now, if you're going to call the bull market, say from, you know, maybe the 1980s, maybe you're going to call the bull market from when they really started putting on the printing press back in 2008 to where we are now. But when the Ponzi scheme, when this whole Ponzi scheme comes to an end, there's probably going to be a big move. So, but as I said before, traders, that's where, like right now, initially my market updates have been bullish with the short-term analysis, meaning that we're going to go through swings. That's why my last few weeks market updates, especially right now, currently I'm doing this video for you. Short-term analysis is you go through swings, right? You go for a really big move, then you go through a pullback, you go through big moves and so on. That's the short-term swings of a technical analysis, okay? This whole thing here is about the overall movement in the markets from here. So they're different things. You can get short-term swings, so you can get this. So again, this could happen on the daily charts through here, right? That could actually happen on the daily charts, and the monthly chart just look like something like that. Make sense? So this is completely different from a short-term technical analysis to the big picture here. Now the big picture, again, this whole thing that's happening right now is we're probably going to get some sort of blow off top to complete the all completes of this here. And as you can see from this point here, so when things really start to come to an end, and I don't believe they're gonna, the whole great reset is a warning sign that there is going to be a great reset, right? There's going to be massive defaults, restructuring. It's just history repeating itself as you read Ray Dalio stuff. So that's why I do believe we're probably going to get a big blow off top through here. Now, once again, traders, I don't want you to be going to place a trade based off what I said there, because you never know how that blow off top is going to be, right? It may, with that blow off top may not be happening until maybe next year, right? We don't know. It may not be happening until maybe later this decade, and then so maybe this happens towards the end of the 30s, and then maybe the 30s and 50s we start to see something like that. But when this whole Ponzi scheme comes to an end, we can see here that this here has had an incredible move to the upside. And so if we have a look at, that's from the S&P 500 perspective. Now there are two different markets. There is one market here that I don't believe is going to have much of a drop when all this happens. But initially, as I said before, traders, initially we're going to see a blow off top to complete the all completes of this whole big Ponzi scheme. Okay. And by the way, traders, when we do go through the next recession, which is probably going to be in 26, I believe, because I believe we're going to go through a big move, they're going to print more money. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys a bit of a heads up from that perspective, because what happened last time when they printed a lot of money in COVID? You saw what happened to asset prices. So please keep this in mind, in the back of your mind, that if you start to see the recession happen, keep it a non-emotional point of view, right, and not get so sucked in. In fact, you know, if you're learning how to trade properly, you can actually really benefit from this. I love stock market crashes. I can't wait for the stock market crash, because when it goes down faster, and therefore I'll make a lot of money. And that's what I'm always teaching my private clients as well too. So we can see this whole big move to the upside, right? I do believe that's coming, and therefore I believe we're going to get to that. This is the Nasdaq as well too. Look at this here. This is the Nasdaq. Up, we had this very strong pullback on the Nasdaq, right? And then now we actually had this very strong move to the upside through. So I don't believe this is over yet, but if you think about this, right, this is actually quite interesting. Look at this incredible move up. When the Ponzi scheme comes to an end, everything is going to come down, as in like the indices, right? And the Dow Jones. Now the Dow Jones is actually not as bad, but we still actually have what? Up, 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 up. That's the COVID move. Up, look at this here. Isn't this, look at this here. Check this out. From there to there is what? Remember I said before that whenever you have a strong, I have trend analysis and I have strong trend. I'm personally, with my trading system, again, first link in the description, I'll teach you all the details to it if you want to learn that. But for me personally, I'm always looking at to jump on strong trend. What is strong trend? There's a trend analysis and there is strong trend. A trend analysis means higher highs and higher lows. What's the differences between just normal trend and strong trend, right? A normal trend, which means it could go up, you have a 50%, 60%. Sometimes we can come down through to here, and then we can go up through there, and we go through here, right? Sometimes we can get stuff like that happening. Make sense? So this is not strong trend. Why? Because it broke past the 50, and it broke past the 62%. Make sense? So that's not strong trend. I'm teaching you short-term analysis here, but now, what is strong trend? Strong trend is, remember I said before, 50% or less. Look at this here. So that was the low. This actually came down to only the 30% level, and now we're breaking back up. What does that say to you? All right, that now says what? The overall picture here actually came down 50% and less, and now we're breaking up to new high. That means overall, the Dow Jones is probably going to be getting ready for the industrial sector is probably going to be getting ready for a really big move over the next 1 to 2 years before that big recession starts. Makes sense? Now again, traders, we're looking at a monthly chart here. Okay, I must completely also neutralize your views that what I just said there. Yes, I believe we're going to get a big move up, but on a short-term technical analysis, we've done this on the daily charts. So therefore, we're probably going to get that for maybe a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months before we get something like that. Makes sense? So that could actually look like on the monthly chart, that could look like something like this here, right? It could get something like that, you know, maybe something like that even, and then we start to get a very, very, very big move to the upside. Makes sense, traders? So that's basically what you would expect. Okay, so when I make that sign, very big move to the upside, then you must understand that the context of what I'm saying things here. Okay, very big moves come with, if a very big bull trend is going to happen, we're going to get this here, right? We're going to get that. It's not just going to be straight like that. I think sometimes whenever we picture around mind, oh, this thing's going to explode, I better get in right now, right? And it's never, you guys probably realize that it's never the case when it comes to that. But the whole thesis of this video here is that yes, I'm talking about what's probably coming now for the next couple of months, but when the whole thesis of this video is about the big Ponzi scheme, right? So this whole big Ponzi scheme, when this whole big Ponzi scheme comes to an end, you can see here the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P there's a long way to go, right? And even if they did, if this did, let's say for example the S&P did have a big blow off top to up here, as I said before, like that's where I got my lines up there, 6,000. I think it's probably going to get there because I did some projections based off this level here. Anyway, in fact, if we use a 1-to-1 projection, right? So for you guys that like the Fibonacci tool, remember I said, but this is the S&P, so that's that low point to the high point. Remember I said before? Now look at this here. So if we use a 1-to-1 projection, so let me just take this off the screen now to see where this is likely to go to. And does this have, let's see. Is that? No, okay. So let's actually do, let's do a projection. If we did start to make the blow off top, where could it actually ultimately go down to? So let's actually go to Fibonacci extension, where I'm right on you right now. Okay, so there's that low point, there's that high point, and then there's that low point through there. Let's actually bring up that. Let's actually see if I can bring up there's a 1-to-1, and there's a 1.68 there as well too. Okay, cool. So we're doing this through there. I'm just doing some analysis right now, and it looks like, there you go guys, look at there. Wow. So a 1-to-1, right, which simply means just another big move to the upside. What's a break this level here? It does look like just a 1-to-1 looks like that's around that 6,000 level. That's one of the reasons why I've got that level through there. So if we did have a big move, which I do believe we're going to get, now it could even start to get crazier than that, right? But as you can see, right, this is just, it's all it is. A 1-to-1 simply means, guys, you're just measuring the first leg up, and then you just get the pole, and as you can see, right, you just get the pole and you measure it from that bottom of the 50% retracement, and then project it up. So that's probably where it's going to get down. That's probably where it's going to go to, I believe, over the next couple of years. But just remember, traders, as I said before, this is a monthly chart, so we're going to get our swings, we're going to get our weeks, sometimes months of pullbacks, and so on and so forth. But this is an overall analysis. So that's the first thing I do. That's the first thing I do see happening. But then again, the title of this video is about when this whole Ponzi scheme comes to an end, there is a long way down to go. And I'd like to see what your opinion is, guys. What do you think is going to happen? I personally believe we're going to see one last final blow off to end this overall massive big bull market we've been in. And then we see things start to really fall apart. And from there, but do you guys think that's going to happen, or do you guys think that's it? You know, it's probably not going to last that much longer. The Fed's at the end of the road and they're going to crash. Leave a comment in the section below, guys, and let me know what you think about what I've talked about today.